We're now joined by Iowa State coach Steve Prohm. Coach, welcome, and your thoughts about the upcoming season.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Really just ready to get started on a new year. Really pleased with where our guys are at. Excited. Obviously, Media Day means that the season's right around the corner with scrimmages and exhibitions, and then obviously our first game in a couple weeks. But I think we've made a lot of strides in the things we had to do to get better, to put ourselves back on the map, to get back to the NCAA tournament. I think we've worked on building our team with our chemistry, our depth, sharing the basketball, decision making, and very pleased where we're at right now. We got a long way to go, but I'm excited about the opportunities that this team presents.
Okay, we'll take questions. If you'll put your hand up, we'll get a microphone to you. Question straight back in the middle, Coach, on the back row.
Myron Metcalf, ESPN. Cam Lard is obviously a guy a lot of people are wondering about. What's his status and how prepared is he to play right now, both mentally and physically?
You know, Cameron, he's a situation, a separate situation. But in regards to Cameron, it's been public. My first and foremost as a head coach is to invest in these kids, to get them better socially, spiritually, academically, and athletically. That's my mission as a coach. Cameron's got some situations that he's got to get better in with his habits, his daily habits, in a lot of areas. The one thing that I'm happy about, he's made a lot of strides from the day he's got on campus to where he's at right now. But like he knows and I know, is there'll be some disciplinary measures that I gotta hand down once our season starts, and at that time, I'll talk about that further. But right now he's making good strides, but he's still got a little ways to go.
Question on the second row in middle.
Scott Fritchen, GoPowerCat.com. Coach, you're familiar with Dean Wade, preseason player of the year for the Big 12. I'm doing a story on him, and I was just curious about the strides that you've been able to see him make in his career and the growth that he made last year.
I've seen him for, really, this is my fourth year. It'll be his senior year. And you can go back and watching him kind of go against Niang as a freshman, when Niang was an upperclassman as a senior, and just the strides he's made in a leadership role, in his skill level. He's a tough matchup in our league, and he's a guy that's going to play at the next level. Could have probably left school this year. He could answer that a lot better than me, but he brings skill, he brings versatility. He's a guy that you got to decide how you want to cover him in pick and roll, how you want to guard him in the post. He's one of the guys at the 4 spot or the 5, whichever they play him, that's had a lot of success in this league over the last several years. But it's fun to watch guys when they stay from their freshman to senior year. You're ready for them to move on, the really good ones. But to see his strides offensively, he's been terrific, and that's why he's preseason player of the year, and that's why they're picked second in the league. And but they've got more than him as well. But he's been terrific in his growth.
Questions for the coach. If you put your hand up, we'll get a microphone to you. Surely you're not going to let him get off this easy with just one question. We got a question in the rear.
Myron Metcalf, ESPN again. With Lindell, what was the process when he thought about turning pro, and how did you help him sort of navigate what his best option was?
Yeah, this is the first year I've had a couple kids in that situation, at that position. Could have left, could have stayed. A couple stayed, one left. This was the first time going through the process where the rules had changed to where you could have the paid workouts and be able to come back to school, and so it's a little different navigating that. He's got an unbelievable support system back home. His father was great through the process. Lindell was great. I think the best thing that process taught all of us, I think we got closer, though you go through some bumps along the process, throughout the spring and summer. I think right now our relationships is as good as it's ever been, and I think he understands, hey, here's the 3 things you've got to get better in. Decision making, can you make others better, and can you defend multiple positions? And if you can do that, sky's the limit for you once we have a great season this year. And then play for Iowa State. That's been my biggest message to him. Scouts have been through there. We've had several scouts through already, and I think everybody's noticed how our team's sharing the ball better this year, his decision making, and he's not thinking score, score, score. He's taking the best option on the offensive opportunities, whether that's shot, whether that's pass. He's gotten in. He's watching a lot more film. I think he's in a really good place. So I think it was really good for him, you know. And what I've learned through that process is just how to deal with the players and their families a little bit better, because nothing's ever perfect. But you know, we almost, when he came back, it was like, hey, let's just start from square one and go from here. And they've been great. And I'm really excited about what he can do. I think somebody asked me back home who the most surprising player is that we have right now, and I mentioned Lindell. And because he's doing the things we need him to do, and I think he's got a chance to have a really special year.
Question on the middle front.
Riley Gates, GoPowerCat.com. Staying along with Lindell, he obviously took the league by storm, just kind of coming out as a freshman and really impressing a lot of people. As someone that recruited him, as someone that saw him early in the season last year, what were your thoughts on his freshman performance? I'm sure it didn't completely shock you, but did it kind of come as a little bit of a surprise just how impressive he was?
I don't know if it came as a surprise, just being honest. You want to recruit some guys that can come in and impact your program like that, especially with the turnover that we had, losing Morris and Burton and Long and Thomas and all those guys that we had that year in 2017. There's one stat, I think, only him and Kevin Durant shot 40% from 3 and averaged over 16 points as freshmen. So he obviously had a tremendous freshman campaign. But as a team, we weren't good enough. And that's been my message to him is, you know, let's do that and let's have a special year as a team.
Final question for Coach on the outside left.
Jackson Schneider, KJHK. And Coach, can you talk a little bit about your non-conference schedule? The Maui Invitational presents an interesting challenge.
Yeah, well, right away we've got Missouri at home, and not skipping over it. We open up with Alabama State, but we've got Missouri at home, which is going to be a great test. Obviously, that's really unfortunate for Porter. You know, what he's going through now. You hate to see that with any team or any kid, especially a 19, 20-year-old kid. But we've got Missouri at home, which will be a great test for us. We've got Arizona open up in Maui, and the field out there is terrific. It's the first year Chaminade's not in the tournament. So we've got Gonzaga and Illinois on our side, and the other side is Duke, San Diego State, Auburn, and Xavier. And then we have Iowa on the road. We've got Ole Miss on the road. And then obviously we've got our conference schedule down the road. But our non-conference is going to really test us. It's going to test us early, and it's going to test us often. But there's a lot of opportunities to get really good resume-building wins and to get us back into the national recognition where we need to be.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much for your answers, and we wish you the best of luck for the season.
Thanks, guys.